Back in Eugene, they had the way, but that was then. This is game day, now it's Pasadena, the granddaddy stage. We're ready to rumble, unleash the rage. Fuck the Ducks, we're coming for the crown. With scarlet and gray, we'll shut them down. Fuck the Ducks, revenge is in our sights. We'll own the field under Pasadena lights. They ran the ball, they thought they'd fly, but this time, Ducks, your wings won't glide. Howard's got the cannon, Henderson's the spark. Buckeye Nation's roaring, we'll leave our mark. Fuck the Ducks, we're coming for the crown. With scarlet and gray, we'll shut them down. Fuck the Ducks, revenge is in our sights. We'll own the field under Pasadena lights. They ran the ball, they thought they'd fly, but this time, Ducks, your wings won't glide. Howard's got the cannon, Henderson's the spark. Buckeye Nation's roaring, we'll leave our mark. Fuck the Ducks, we're coming for the crown. With scarlet and gray, we'll shut them down. Fuck the Ducks, revenge is in our sights. We'll own the field under Pasadena lights. Ohio rings loud and clear. The quack attack fades when the Buckeyes appear. The roses are red, the stakes are high, but scarlet will shine as we conquer the sky. Fuck the Ducks, they've run out of luck. We're bringing the fight, no feathers unstuck. Fuck the Ducks, the Rose Bowl is ours. This is our season, this is our hour. Fuck the Ducks, fuck the Ducks under the Pasadena lights. We'll buck the Ducks, fuck the Ducks. Fuck the Ducks under the Pasadena lights.
Welcome back to the OHIO podcast, everybody. Call-in show on a Thursday night, a victorious Thursday night, everybody. I am your host, Buckeye Boggs, a.k.a. the Pod Father. It's good to have you all with us tonight. Chris is experiencing some technical difficulties. He is getting a really bad echo in his headphones, and so he's trying to effort on possibly picking up another computer, maybe Bobby's computer, his wife, and see if maybe that will be any better. So we're going to check that out. Chris, you want to try this again?
Well, let's give it a shot.
Okay, let's see. No, still not good.
Go ahead. If it's not echoing to everybody else, it's fine. I'll deal with it.
Okay, so Chris is hearing an echo. We'll see if it's all right. I'm not hearing one on my end, Chris. So I'm guessing it's in your head's headset.
Well,
maybe it is in your head.
two different computers now. So.
Oh, you've tried two different computers and you're getting on both, huh?
They're saying in the chat I'm getting an echo.
Oh,
is it just me or is it Eric echoing as well?
Maybe it is me. Everybody's hearing an echo. Okay, let me effort something. While I work on that, Chris, you go for it. Let me see if it's me.
Okay. So is everybody hearing the echo with Eric as well, or is it just me, guys? Just me, Eric.
Interesting that I don't hear it. That's interesting. Okay. All right. Well, we'll try to work on this the best we can while we work on that, everybody. Guys, the phone lines are indeed open, and let me go ahead and run the phone number for you on the bottom of the screen so I don't forget that. You can reach us at 567-483-1999 tonight. I want to talk to you guys about the game. I want to talk to you about the game coming up, but most importantly, let's talk about the game yesterday. Wow. I don't think anybody, including even the greatest of Ryan Day supporters, could have predicted that we were going to come out yesterday and just handle and start off the way we did offensively. Like, this team notoriously all season has been slow starters. And the last two games, the most significant games of the season, at home against Tennessee, on the road against Oregon in the Rose Bowl, offensively, we have come out like gangbusters, and start as fast as we have. The last two games has just caught me completely off guard, man. Like, I was not anticipating that at all. You all saw me during the live watch. If you watched the live watch, and by the way, 1,600 people checked out the live watch yesterday, which was insane that 1,600 people tuned in to us watching the game. You all saw the shock on my face. I was flabbergasted by what was going on yesterday. So unbelievable that was happening. We're going to try one more time, Chris. No, still not. Okay. He's giving me the no signal. So we'll see if we get him. But Dion says Texas doesn't scare him. I got you, Dion. I understand. Texas did not look that great in the second half of that game. They came out and started off fast against Arizona State as well. And here we are. Texas is the last great hope for the SEC in this thing, man. They are down to Texas being their last hope. I don't know. I think Ohio State can do it, but let's be honest. They got to do it in the Lone Star State in Jerry World. So we've got to go down into Texas and beat the Longhorns in their state. That would be like Texas coming up to Cleveland, Ohio, and beating Ohio State in Cleveland. Okay, that's the equivalent here of what we're going to have to do in the third round of this playoff, going down to the Cotton Bowl and taking down the Longhorns. And so it's not going to be easy. Yeah, I understand Ryan Day's beard. We travel well. That is 100% a fact. It was a solid 50-50 yesterday, I would say, in the Rose Bowl. And we had a lot further way to travel than the Duck fans did. But you know what? Hats off to Ohio State and Buckeye Nation for traveling to Pasadena so well and doing what we did as fans there, man. They were loud and proud and shell-shocked the Ducks. So that was absolutely true. All right, I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's go right to the phone lines and let's get this action started. Let's see who we got first tonight. All right. Oh, this is going to be a good one, guys. This is going to be a good one. Eric Osbeck, what's up, buddy?
How's it going, OH?
Hi, brother, man. It's good to hear you tonight, man. Awesome game last night, brother. Your thoughts?
I tell you what, I have not been this happy since 2014. I mean, the way it reminded me of when we destroyed Wisconsin, took out Alabama, and then just rocked Oregon for the national championship. And you guys know, and whoever else heard me last time, I have never been so low as I have ever been in late November. And today, I almost don't care what happens against Texas. I am just so happy that we went out and beat Oregon like we did, beat Tennessee like we did. And, you know, and like you guys have been saying this entire time, I am not against, you know, Ryan Day as a person. I root for Ryan Day because when Ryan Day succeeds, the team succeeds and we win. And, you know, I have been hard on him because I saw what he did in late November. And I knew that we had so much talent that was absolutely wasted and is showing up in the postseason. And I'm glad. I'm thrilled. I can't be any happier than I am right now. And I am happy that I was so low when I called in last time, and this is just the highest of the highs. And it's amazing, just absolutely amazing. What this team has shown, what they've accomplished, going out and going up 34-0 on the number one team in the country. I mean, come on. I mean, that's just, this game will be looked at for years and years and years and years. And people are going to say, wow, that was just a beating of a lifetime that we gave them. And let me just, a couple other things, and I'll let you guys kind of, say something. There was some talk, I'm going to go a little bit negative, but about Saban. And, you guys have talked about Saban. And I just have one thing. If Saban had lost every single game to Auburn, and he was shut out of national championships because of his losses to Auburn, he'd be a little smoky against Auburn, just like we're smoky against that team up north.
Yeah.
And, he had, a winning record against Auburn, and that's why he really doesn't understand what it's like to be on the other end of that kind of thing. And, if he had a little taste of that, then he would understand where we're coming from as a team and as a fan base. But like I said, this is just yesterday was one of the best days in recent Ohio State history. I think, since 2000, it's one of the best victories we've ever had. And it was a complete team victory. Defense, offense, our kicker, knocked out too. I mean, come on. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better than what happened yesterday.
No.
It was amazing.
Even the kicking game, Eric, was a huge aspect of this game. You're absolutely right. I was during the live watch, I was telling the guys, no, we need to kick this field goal. The second one, I go, he needs to put two of them through the uprights for his confidence. And I was watching the Pat McAfee show today, and it's obvious that Pat McAfee has not followed our team very closely this year. Number one, he thought Oregon was going to win the game. But then number two, he said, Ohio State's got a great kicking game. I was like, dude, Pat, no, don't say that. It's we don't have a great kicking game. But it was good yesterday, and that's the thing. I watched the Notre Dame game before we came on, Eric, and that kicker put three of them through the uprights from 40 plus. And if you get into a game with Notre Dame, and I don't want to look past the Longhorns, that's not what I'm doing here, but I'm thinking big picture. If you get into a game with Notre Dame where, obviously their defense, I think, is the best defense we will have played if we get to the national championship, and that includes the next round against Texas. You're going to have it might come down to kicking in special teams. Look at how Marcus Freeman used special teams like he did in this game. He defeated Georgia in all three phases of the game. And you know what that reminded me of? His protege, Jim Tressel. He used special
100%.
teams as a weapon, right? And I just wish at times that Ryan Day would get that kind of killer instinct with special teams to be it can be a weapon. You can still be great at offense. You can be great at defense. And if you're great at special teams, then there's no way anybody's going to be able to beat you. And
and when you have to punt, you pin their ears back on the between the goal line and the 10-yard line. You take them down. You hit every single field goal you can. You keep them out of field goal range because they have people that can knock them through. You get some good returns. It's all about position and just trying to take them out before they even get a chance to get anything going.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. So
I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know who lit the fire under Ryan Day and Kelly, before the Tennessee game, because someone did something to come out and go up 21-0. What did they say? In the last, we scored 35. It was 35-0, Ohio State in the just in the first quarter of the first two games.
Yeah.
I mean, when you put teams back on their heels like that, there's no coming back.
No,
I think you guys were a little bit like me maybe yesterday when they got the touchdown at the end of the first half and then touchdown at the beginning of the second half. I'm like, okay, we might have to battle a little bit, but you know what? It didn't matter because we just knocked them on their butt so quick, so fast. There was no way they were going to get off the mat. And no matter who we play, Texas or Notre Dame or Penn State, if we go up 21-0 again against these teams, there's no way they're coming back on us.
No, you're absolutely right. Especially with this defense. That's the thing. Like, you have a defense that is suffocating. And the thing about this defense that is I think incredible is the tackling, man. They are so sound, so textbook in how they tackle. There was zero yak
100%.
yesterday. Zero. Like, if they caught the ball, they were hit immediately. Like, there was no yards after contact. And when you got hit, man, you went down. Like, they were hitting again. We talked about how in the Tennessee game we were cracking helmets, right? Same concept here. Just
right.
We didn't have to worry about the cold weather actually cracking a helmet here. So this was an amazing display on both sides of the football. And if you can get up on teams like that on your offense, given what you have defensively, that's why I wasn't mad that Ryan Day kind of took his foot off the gas a little bit offensively. Because he's like, all right, we did what we wanted to do offensively. Now I'm going to go ahead and let this defense do what they need to do. And
you know what? I agree exactly what you just said. And I wasn't even mad that we were up 34 and then they came back and got 16. I was like, all right, we're all right. And then we got that last touchdown, and now it's just no matter what they did after that, it really didn't matter. We just put the spike in them at that point. It was like Ryan Day was kind of toying with them, and they said, all right, we're going to take one more touchdown and just really just destroy them, and that's what he did. It's like when he stopped playing with his food, he just put the fork in him.
Yeah. No, he absolutely did. I'm trying to work on Chris here where he can't hear us. Now he can't hear us, but we can hear him. It's crazy what's going on with his audio tonight. And he's like, "Hey guys, I had this is the same setup I had yesterday, so I'm not sure what's going on with poor Chris tonight, but we're trying to get him on, everybody." So anyways, Eric,
I'll let somebody else take over. Like I said, from the lowest of the lows to the highest of the highs, it's a good day to be a Buckeye.
It is. It's a great day to be a Buckeye, Eric, and you are always one of my favorite callers when you call in, brother. I appreciate you, man. We're going to get you on the show here after the season's over and do a special video with you. You're one of the first ones up again I want to talk to in person. So, all right, brother, have a good one. Thanks for calling in, OH.
All right. OHIO.
Go Bucks. All right, guys, let's look and see who our next caller is going to be here. Oh, I like this. I'm back-to-back good callers. Speedy, what's happening, brother?
Hey, I'll tell you what, I got my heart going out to Chris because I remember my first day on the internet. But anyways.
Oh.
No. I love some Chris or whatever. But if I could, Eric, I'd just like to take about 5 seconds or whatever of the podcast to remember everyone involved with the terrorist attack down in New Orleans. I've been down there. I have some great friends down there. You will not find any hospitality better than those people down there. So, brother, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to take about 5 seconds, if that's okay with you.
Go for it, my man. You do that, brother.
Do it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for that, my man. Thank you. Appreciate you coming up with that, Speedy.
Yeah, well, brother, we all got to come up and be human.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we love college football. We love sports and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, we're all humans, and we've got to love each other and appreciate each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely, brother. All right, man, let's talk about this game yesterday, dude. 2 games in a row, Speedy, where the offense comes out and just hangs multiple scores on the board to start the game while the defense is suffocating, putting your opponent in the corner from the very get-go. Your reactions to this game, my man.
Oh my gosh. I think I told you last week or whatever, when we went up on Cotton Top, that I hadn't felt that great since we toppled Bama in the semifinals back to 2014. And to do it against the Ducks, which I have enormous respect for, Dan Lanning, and especially the players that stayed behind, and wanted to congratulate the Bucks and Tez come up there and waited for Will to get done with his interview and say, "Hey, go win it all." I thought that was very classy. Definitely stoked. They were 13-0, the only undefeated team in the country. And I could not be prouder. And, I've always supported our boys, but not always the coaches. But I'll tell you what, the coaches have brought it the last couple of games, and I couldn't be more proud of them as well. What do you think, bro?
Dude, listen, you're Speedy, you're asking me to do Here's the thing.
Hello.
Here's the thing. I believe that Ryan Day, I don't know what happened between the game against your rival in Tennessee. Other than this, Speedy, Buckeye Nation was upset and hurt and angry. And I think he felt all of that. I think the players felt all of that. And the only thing I can put my finger on is when those scum put their flag in the middle of our logo, in the middle of our stadium, and some of our players said, no, not today. Regardless of what was on the scoreboard, regardless of what happened in the outcome of that game, they refused to let that happen. It lit something in this team. And whatever decisions were made from Ryan Day and this coaching staff to change whatever the heck that was on the offensive side of the ball that day to what has happened the last 2 games has been the greatest thing to happen to Ryan Day since he became the head coach. I kid you not, Speedy. I really believe that. And if it took losing 4 straight times to that team and them putting a flag in the middle of our field and us starting a fight because of it, defending our logo, then so be it. Because he's a changed man. He's a different man, Speedy.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Jack Sawyer, I believe, is a changed man. He has always played with intensity. I got to meet his sister at the Scarlet and Gray game in the spring and all that stuff, whatever. And she video time Jack and all that stuff. Got to talk to him just for a half second, where that guy is 1,000% on board and aggressive and going to do whatever it takes to win the daggone game. And then after the attempted flag plant, man, this guy's off the hook. Obviously, we've seen it in the last couple of games or whatever. He's a monster. He's had more pass tips than any of our defensive backfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he almost had a pick six again. He almost had it. So I thought for sure he was going to get it, to be honest with you. All right, so it sounds like, guys, that Chris is unable to get it working here. So he's going to be hanging out in the chat, he said, and taking care of the chat tonight. So Chris, if you want to, go ahead and you put up the comments, all right? And then I'll manage the phone calls, brother. We'll be a good team that way. So anything you read from the OHO podcast in the chat, that's Chris tonight. Feel free to go back and forth with Chris and talk with him in the chat, guys. Speedy, going into this next game, I've come to this conclusion in the last 24 hours. Whatever this team is doing, they don't change a thing. Whatever they're eating at lunchtime, whenever they're going to bed, whatever routine they're doing, don't change a thing. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I think we go down to Texas, and I think we win that game. I don't think it's going to be as easy as Tennessee. I don't think it's going to be as easy as it was in the Rose Bowl. I do think the Texas playing at home is going to be an advantage for them. Home state is going to be an advantage for them. But I think if Ohio State continues to do what they've done the last 8 quarters of football, we win this game and we go to a national championship game. Your thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if you can find anybody in the whole country that would dispute that claim. I mean, and I'm not saying that out of ego or anything like that. It's just these guys and the coaches have been playing flat out the best football that they've played all year. And now is definitely the time to peak for sure.
So what do you think about this, Speedy? If this is when you peak, did Ryan Day purposely try to build this team up to this point this season? Because it felt like at times he purposely held this team back at times. Maybe he didn't. Maybe I'm just crazy. And maybe we're just on some kind of epic run, like Eric Osbeck said, like in 2014, when we beat, Wisconsin, Alabama, and Oregon the way we did in 3 consecutive games. But it feels like to me that he was constantly building this season, brick on brick, to the point that we've gotten to where the last 2 games we've looked like the best team in college football. Is there anything to that, you think?
Up until the loss to that team up north in our own house, I could have very well agreed with you on that, Eric. But I'll tell you what, man, you cannot lose that team up north like we did. I mean, seriously, we scored 10 points. I don't know. I just can't buy into that theory, tinfoil hat and all that. I just think that Ryan Day had finally listened to the OHIO podcast and all of us saying, take what they give you and rotate.
Yeah. It's amazing to me how just how this team evolved this season. Like, I think if you go back in the offseason and we were to watch every single game as we progress through the season, knowing what the outcome is, whatever that ends up being for this season, whether we go down to Texas and win or not, and whether we get to a national championship or not, to just know like where we started and then where we end up, it would be interesting to see through 2020 vision what we missed during the season. You know what I mean? Like, were we too hard at times? Do we look at things differently, such as the game against Michigan? I don't know, man. It'd just be interesting to see. But I know this much. I'm riding this wave, dude. It feels good. If it, to be back where we're at, to be where this team is at right now, this is where we thought they were, would be because of the talent that's on this roster. This is where we thought we would be. So I'm just going to ride this wave, man. Like a surfer, dude. You get on your board, you hang 10, and you ride the wave. That's what we're doing right now as fans. And that wave is a giant scarlet and gray Buckeye rolling downhill. And it's rolling down to Austin, Texas next, guys. So, Speedy, any last thing before we go to the next caller, brother?
Yes, sir. I'm just going to go ahead and give you what I call the buckshot review.
Okay.
This is be quick and efficient stuff. They came out and took what they gave us. Ball was tipped by the D line. Obviously, Jack Sawyer was on it. Lathan Ransom again. I tell you what, he is so underrated or whatever.
Yes, he is.
I think that he could possibly be the next Nate Ebner in NFL, just because he is that talented. And there was no DPI on Egan Benosum. Jaden Fielding was looking good. And again, we rotate, we win. Excellent blocking by the wide receivers, the tight ends, and running backs. That first touchdown by Jeremiah Smith was a huge example of that. And how about that Cody Simon fighting through injuries and all that in his past to dominate? I mean, he came out and let loose. What do you think, bro?
Dude, Cody Simon's he's a baller, dude. I think the linebackers this season, the second part of the season, have improved. And out of any position group on the team, the linebackers have improved the most this season, hands down. I don't even think that's a debate. Yeah, I think you hit on everything right there, Speedy, that I would as well. I love it, man. I can't wait for the next one. Like I sit here and think, okay, we've got, I'm counting them down. I was like 9, 8. Okay, it's next Friday, so we have 8 days. I can't wait for next Friday. Like, I'm so excited to get to that game because I have confidence in this team again. And it makes watching the games incredibly fun, dude. Appreciate the phone call, brother. Thanks for calling in, man. OH.
And I appreciate Chris being silent for once and not being a negative Nancy. What's up with that, bro?
Oh, his fingers are typing fast now, man.
I know. I'm just kidding, Chris. I love you, wild man. You the guy. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon, man. Take care.
See you, Speedy. Go Bucks. Oh, shoot. That was fantastic, man. All right, Tyler. Let's get to you, buddy. What's up, Tyler?
Oh, I'm great, Eric.
You better be great after that. Hey, by the way, Tyler, thank you yesterday for battling those bots, man. My gosh, dude. I felt like our show made it yesterday. When you had that many bots attacking our show, I'm like, they want in. They want in on the OHIO podcast.
It's ridiculous. I don't know why bots show up in the streams. They're just so annoying. But I did my best.
You did great, brother. Every time I would jump over to try to take care of them, you'd already beat me to it. So I appreciate you. Appreciate you doing that, man. You know what, Tyler? Not only am I appreciative of that, but I'm appreciative of how Ohio State played yesterday. How about you?
Absolutely. And I was going. I just looked on Instagram while I was waiting for my call, Eric. And one of my old posts for the first game against Oregon popped up with some Oregon fans. And I was like, hey, Oregon, yeah, you guys won the first time. What happened the second time? So, and Also, Eric, my neighbor's a Georgia fan too. So I asked him.
That's not good for him tonight.
Yeah. So he's like, "Oh, there's still a lot of time left." I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
Listen,
So,
SEC,
man.
We all knew Georgia was a flawed team. Everybody could see that this was not the same Georgia team of the last couple seasons, man. They had lost a lot of talent, and you know, with the transfer portal, Tyler, some of those guys who are in other teams who are playing right now were guys who probably should have stuck around and would be playing for Georgia today. And that's one of the things about the transfer portal. It gives and it takes away. And if you don't replenish better than what you lost in the portal, then the portal can hit you. And I think that's a little bit of what Georgia ran into, was a little bit of what I call portal nutrition. They were a little bit malnourished. I did not say that word correctly. Chris laughing at me now for not being able to speak English. Their roster wasn't as strong as it normally is because the portal just kind of got to them. That's a part of my thesis on their season. But Tyler, I'll say it like this, man. Notre Dame and Penn State is going to be an incredibly interesting game, and then of course Texas and Ohio State. But I think if you look at those four teams, those last four teams, I think Ohio State's the best team out of all four.
Absolutely. And Eric, I also ran, and today I was going to the store. I ran a Texas fan. He was driving by. I saw his license plate. I gave him the horns down, and I showed him my Buckeye stuff, and he just looked at me and he just like nodded his head. He's like, "Yeah, okay."
It begins now, huh?
So let's talk about the Texas game.
Let's do it.
So some other Buckeye fans were like, I just saw on Facebook, this Buckeye fan was like, "I'm nervous about Texas." I'm like, why? They almost lost to Arizona State. They should have.
I'll tell you why he or she's probably nervous about Texas a little bit. Out of all the four teams remaining, if you look at recruiting rankings, next to Ohio State, Texas is the next best team. Okay. So
That's fair.
Just taking recruiting stars into account. Texas is playing this game in their home state, so advantage Texas there. So less travel, more. They're used to the time zone. They're used to the weather, even though it's in a dome. But you get my point. So they're just more accustomed. A lot of those players have probably played in that stadium and on that turf before, whether that be in high school or previous years. So there's a little bit of a familiarity to the place, which is advantage them. Mm-hmm. However, Ohio State played there last year in the Cotton Bowl, so that helps out a little bit there too. But Texas has got some advantages
again now.
What's that, Tyler? Sorry.
Oh, we're in the Cotton Bowl again now.
Yeah.
So we get our redemption of that abysmal performance in the Cotton Bowl last year.
Yeah. And if you want to play the redemption card, Tyler, then you can play it with this. Texas's head coach was the offensive coordinator at Alabama when we lost the national championship in 2020.
Exactly.
So Ryan, there's a little bit of a Ryan Day wanting to get even there in that aspect of it, as well as Quinn Ewers took the money and ran from Ohio State 3 years ago. So there's that as well.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tyler?
Oh, I agree. I agree completely.
Gotcha.
And what I'm looking at with Texas, their offensive line, they're losing linemen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
out of all four teams that are left, Ohio State and Penn State are the two healthiest. which is crazy because we all play in the Big Ten, which is by far the most physical conference in college football. So the fact that we're the two healthiest teams, I mean, knock on wood, but we haven't lost anybody on defense. Thank goodness. Now offensively, we've lost 2 starters on the offensive line this season, but hats off to the offensive line, Tyler. Hats off to the offensive line yesterday. Played great again. Played great again.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. Yeah. Now there was one time Shabola on that pass to Jeremiah Smith where he threw it in triple coverage on the sideline and Jeremiah went up and grabbed it. Shabola was on his backside, looked like a fish out of water.
Yeah,
and somehow we still got the pass off. But by the way, G. Scott Jr. was wide open and about 5 yards out on that play. So there was several times on the Emeka Egbuka pass where he went downfield in double coverage and Egbuka just made a great play. Streaking across the field was Carnell Tate wide open. But, I mean, when you're that good, I guess, right?
You know what, Eric? I got a question that I asked Mello in their chat yesterday after the game. You know how leading up to the game there was the whole flu rumor, the whole flu rumor of Oregon on their defense. Did their offense have the flu too?
I don't know, but they played like it. I mean, they did not look good. Hey, we got a $5 super chat here, Tyler, from Brian Kelly's caddy. Go Irish! Would love to see OSU versus Notre Dame national championship game. Brian Kelly's caddy. That is exactly what we're hoping for because there would be nothing more that would help this channel out than a little Always Irish and OHIO podcast crime on crime that week. So
oh my goodness,
we're rooting for that because I want Kennedy on this show screaming and yelling.
Oh, Kennedy would be hilarious.
So thank you for the super chat, Brian. Yeah, dude, I'm serious, Tyler. Like, I'll give Oregon credit for this though, Tyler. I have not seen a ton of excuse making from them, other than the fact that they're just mad at the CFP for giving them, the number 1 seed, and then their first game is Ohio State. But
okay, well, let me go in the. I want to go dive into that excuse because I hate excuses, Eric. So you were going to play us anyways. You're going to play unless you got very lucky and we somehow fall on our face. Somehow,
right?
But so you're blaming the college football playoffs for playing us. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe if you didn't want to play us, it's kind of out of your control because we won just enough games to get in the playoffs.
Well, you're gonna have to play us eventually, anyways. Whether you played us in the second round, third round, or the championship, one way or the other, you were gonna have to play. It's kind of like, I'm not mad that Ohio State has to go the route they have to go. Now, I'll say this: every team in the playoff, and I said this to a Penn State fan, and he got mad at me, but it's absolutely true. And if he wants to deny it, that's fine. Every team in this playoff that played in the first round, so seeds 5 through 12, every one of them would have wanted Penn State's path to play.
Yes.
It's not even a debate. To play SMU and Boise, which I'm sorry, I know SMU's in the Power 4 this year. This is their first year in Power 4. They're basically a glorified G5 team, okay? SMU, Boise, and now they get Notre Dame before a national championship game. Everybody would want that path. Everyone. And Oregon, and I understand Oregon's like, dude, we had to play Ohio State. They would have much rather have played SMU and Boise State back to back than had to play us. So it is what it is. There's no, I mean, outside of that, Tyler, the fact that Ohio State has gone through Tennessee, now Oregon, and now Texas coming up, which is what we all thought would happen, right? The one difference is it's not going to be Georgia in the national championship game in Atlanta. But to take the path we did.
Which I really wanted it to be Georgia. I really wanted it because I wanted to get the rematch for Marv, for Cade, for that missed field goal. But if we don't play them, hey, we played Notre Dame. Maybe next time they'll actually have 10 men. They'll have 11 men on the field.
Tyler, nice, Tyler, nice. Yeah, no, you're right. Hey, put the John G. Smith Jr.'s comment up here real fast, Chris. This is interesting, Tyler. Will Howard has it out for Texas. We were talking about revenge factors or motivation, right? Will Howard has it out for Texas. He's played them 4 times and has lost back to back in the Big 12 championship. He wants revenge. So, and lost back in the Big 12. So, yeah, Will Howard has some Texas revenge on his mind too. Absolutely. A $10 super chat from Donald and Karen Rossback. Buckeyes against the world. I want the natty bad. OHIO, Donald. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Tyler, that game yesterday, the game against Texas coming up, do you agree with me that even though it might be the most quote-unquote difficult path, it leaves zero doubt in anybody's mind whether Ohio State has earned this thing or not? Yes?
Absolutely. It's without question. I don't know exactly why it's taken Ryan Day this long to realize this. And I don't know why it took them to lose to Michigan for a 4th time to realize it. But something in his brain clicked.
Yeah. Something happened. I don't know what it is. The players have talked about it, that they turned the page. It was hard, it hurt, it was difficult. They turned the page and their complete focus was on Tennessee. I don't know if this was always just about getting to the playoffs and then they were going to flip the switch. I don't know, but I'm with Chris. You don't hold back against your rival, man. And Chris is going to say, even if we win the championship, this is going to feel somewhat hollow to him. Not that we're not going to celebrate big time. Like trust me, Chris and I will all be celebrating a national championship if we can win it. But I understand where Chris is coming from when he says it, because that game still means that much to us, and we're not going to let that go. We are the lunatic fringe, brother. That's why Kirk Herbstreit and says we're crazy, and Nick Saban says we all need therapy, because we take that game as serious as we do. But until you live it, you breathe it 365 days out of the year. You know, and all the Michigan fans, by the way, and Burks, I maybe you can help me out with this one. All the Michigan fans are like, dude, that's why we win the game, because we don't take it as serious as you. That's BS. I remember back in 2019 how you guys were crying, man, that we had beaten you guys so many times in a row. And then 2020, y'all quit and didn't even want to play the game. And then all of a sudden, magically in 2021, it's beat Ohio State or die trying. And then all of a sudden it became this, huge thing for you guys again. And because you've won the game a few times in a row, now it's no big deal, right? Like, I'm supposed to believe that false narrative? No thanks. Tyler, any last thoughts, man?
No, I don't, Eric. I just want to say, horns down.
All right, brother. Thanks for calling in, man. OH.
Io.
Ole Miss is putting a whooping on Duke right now, 14-0. So Lane Kiffin is supposedly, I guess, getting his boys playing in the right direction. Speaking of Burks, let's head that direction. What's up, buddy?
Yo, man, nice win. That was amazing, man.
You too,
guys,
by the way.
Deserve a pat on your back.
Hey, man, dude, Burks, let's call it like it is. You guys went down there, went down south. You took on mighty Bama again. No one thought you had a chance. Again, 2 games in a row, guys. You know, Vegas says you aren't going to win the game, and you win the game. Like, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not mad at you. I mean, apparently, if you have SEC across your chest and you're in the Big Ten and you're not named Iowa, it means you're going to get the W.
Yeah, they pretty much failed. Yeah, you can say that. But I don't expect anything great from Iowa. So
no,
you know.
Iowa's terrible, dude. Like Iowa, Kirk Ferentz has hoodwinked that program for the better part of 3 decades. I'm sorry, he has. It's fool's gold. It always has been. It always will be. Iowa is nothing more than Iowa State with different colors. That's all they are.
Yeah, I agree, man. Well, wow, man, you guys really, this was unexpected, how badly you destroyed Oregon. That's crazy, man. I'm, in shock, to tell you the truth. And listen, man, and this is why I wanted, I'm a little surprised because your last show last week, I was watching some of it, and the fact that you had a poll and you wrote that, what's better, a natty or the game, and you said it was split 50-50, and you had some fans saying to you, hey, man, you said, oh, I care about natty more, but it's crazy how there's fans who got mad at you saying, you should change your, are you even an Ohio State fan because of the rivalry? Listen, I honestly feel natty is 100 times more important. I'm letting you know right now, if you guys win the natty, you guys get the last laugh. Literally, you guys get the last laugh because you don't understand how hard it is to win a natty, man.
Oh,
it's hard.
Yeah.
And the fact that the rivalry, man, this is nothing, bro. Who cares if you listen? Rivalry is important if it helps you get into the playoffs. See, I cared about winning the rivalry only when it would help us get into the playoffs. This year, it just felt like we had nothing to our season was over. But the fact that I'm hearing a lot of OSU fans getting mad at each other, I'm actually now noticing this. But a lot of them are getting mad at each other because they're just getting mad, it's because it's the natties are so much more important, but they're getting mad at the rivalry, oh, you guys don't care, you don't care about it. What are you? Are you even Ohio State fans? Yeah, they do care, but what can these fans do? They have to move on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%, dude. Okay, here's how I'm going to explain it to you. All right, and Burks, I think you'll get it, right? So,
yeah.
Leading up to that game, the game, it's everything that's on your mind, right? And once that game is over and you play Tennessee the way you do, your mind shifts. So in my head, I went from I not being able to function as a human being properly to, all right, it's go time to go win the national championship now. You can separate the two. All right? And the thing that makes it more difficult for Ohio State fans, and the thing that will no doubt make it more difficult for Michigan fans when the pendulum shifts the other way again eventually, is that you have to deal with the other fan base for an entire year. And social media has made this exploded even more. So it used to be people would have to call in the AM talk radio programs, right? And there's where the trash talking happened, or it was just people in the workplace or in the fan bases or in families or at school, etc. Now with social media, Burks, you're engulfed by it. You can't get on social media and have a conversation without someone from the opposite fan base poking in, making fun, putting a meme in there, having some kind of joke, slandering you, making fun of you, whatever, right? And so it just makes it exemplifies everything. It magnifies everything is what I'm getting at. And so that's really what the fan bases are dealing with, to be completely honest with you. The other thing that's different, Burks, and I think you will appreciate this. What makes this different than, say, Auburn, Alabama, right, is at the end of the day, even though you guys went down there and beat Bama, and it's like, yay, we're Big Ten beat SEC, whatever. You don't see any of us chanting "Go Big Ten" when you guys win, right? When you guys were playing for a national championship last year, we weren't rooting for Michigan to beat Washington. We were rooting for Washington to beat Michigan, where in the SEC, they're all rooting for each other. And here's why. They are riding the coattails of Georgia and Alabama, and now Texas, right? Because they themselves can't win anything. At least in the Big Ten, we respect the rivalries. You know what I mean? And to the point where they go all year long. They're not just that one Saturday out of the year at the end of the season. So to me, that's what makes the rivalry what it is, and why it hurts more, and why someone like Chris says it feels hollow, even if you win a natty, because that game just means that much to him. I hope I explained that correctly.
Yeah, no, you explained it like 100%, man. And listen, I haven't been a fan of the rivalry. I've been a Michigan fan since 2011. I'm not like your generation where you were 90s and Bo Schembechler and Woody Hayes and this stuff. So I really, my experience, yes, we did lose to you guys 8 times in a row and stuff, but like I only really cared about beating you guys like in 2016, for example, 2018, because those were years where, we had a good record, right? And we could make the playoffs and go to the conference championship. And those were usually the years where I really, really cared about, beating you guys. You know what I'm saying? But Natty's like, you got to win the Natty, man. You know how hard it is to win it?
Yeah, well, we've won 8 in 150 plus years of football. So the chances are less than 8% that we would win a national championship. Actually, less than 4%. So just straight up math tells you that it's difficult. Speaking of math, Bobby Mack with a $5 super chat. Chris, the Team Up North fans also think 2 + 2 is 5, so them ain't no good at math. So, thanks, Bobby Mack. You led me into that math comment there. Burks, listen, you're absolutely right. I mean, in your lifetime, you've seen one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You've seen one.
2011. That was the first year I was a fan of Michigan. That's when I saw Michigan beat Ohio State. That was a trashy Ohio State game.
I'm probably twice your age, I'm guessing. You're in your 20s.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in my 40s, so I'm like twice your age. And I've seen 2. So it's hard. My son who's 20 years old, right? 21. He's 21. No, he's 20. He's going to be 21. He doesn't remember the first one with Tressel. He doesn't remember it. He was a little kid. Actually, he wasn't even born yet. What am I thinking? No. 2014. He would have been he barely remembers it. He was like 10, 11. Yeah, 10 years old. So think about that. Like generationally, we're sitting here, we talk about 2014 like it was yesterday. My son doesn't even remember it. So he hasn't really cognitively seen an Ohio State national championship. They are hard to win. Bama fans who've seen 7 since Nick Saban took over, right? Like,
yeah,
that's incredible. It's unbelievable. And then here's one for you, Burks. When's the last time Penn State's won a national championship? Who's the third best team in the Big Ten?
1982, I'm pretty sure. With Joe Paterno. 1982 or 1986. 86, my bad.
All right. So if it was in 86, I was 5. I'm 43.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's literally an entire 2 generations of Penn State fans who've never seen one. Notre Dame hasn't won one since 88, I think.
Yeah.
Right? 2 generations of fans
Yep.
have not seen their team win a national championship. Texas won one in 2005. Was that when it was? I'm trying to remember.
Texas was 2005. Yeah, 05.
Yeah. Okay. So, again, there's a whole generation since then. That's 19 years ago. Yeah, 2005. Vince Young. Thank you, Chris. So, think about this. 4 teams left in the playoff, Burke. One hasn't seen one since 2 of them haven't seen a national championship since the 80s. One hasn't seen one since 2005. And Ohio State hasn't won one since 2014, 10 years.
Yeah.
They're not easy to win. You're 100% correct. 100% correct.
So it's just crazy, like, why some are saying, oh, the rivalry is more important. Like, I'm like, what the hell, man? Like that's what I'm, like, really shocked that your fan base is, like, it seems they care about the rivalry more than my fan base, because my fan base says right away, the Natty. That I've seen maybe a couple of Michigan fans say that beating Ohio State is, but so far I'm hearing most of them think the Natty is important. So
yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I'll be someone, Burks, to be quite honest with you. I will celebrate this just as hard as I celebrated the one in 2014, just as hard as I celebrated the one in 2002 if we get there and we win it. And it's because it is an incredibly difficult thing to do, but I will also celebrate every time we beat your team, and you should celebrate every time you beat us. And you know what, Burks? You have a lot to be happy about this season. Even though Chris and I rightly predicted, and you did too, by the way, Burks. I remember you saying this at the beginning of the year, that this Michigan team was not as good as a lot of people in your fan base were saying they were. How you finished the season was impressive. It was. So you should be happy with that, man.
Yeah, I know, and good luck, man. I'll be watching Texas, and I'm just letting you know right now, a lot of my Michigan fan base are extremely, extremely salty as hell that you guys have beaten Oregon, Tennessee. Now they're freaking out that you guys are going to win the Natty. I'm dead ass. Like, it's so. I knew this was going to happen, and pretty soon they're going to make an excuse, my fan base, of, oh yeah, because we beat Ohio State, that's why they won the Natty, because they got, they're going to try to take some credit. Watch. That's how I know my fan base too well, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for calling in, Burks. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, take care, man. Have a good day.
Thanks, you as well. Put that comment up, Chris, from Brian NY. So Brian NY is awesome because I believe he's got one kiddo who goes to Notre Dame and one kiddo who goes to Ohio State. Right above the last comment you have, you typed in. Check this out. So an OSU versus Notre Dame championship would be wild in my house. Let's do it. How amazing is that you've got one kiddo at Notre Dame and one at Ohio State, man? And that would be wild. Absolutely wild. All right, man. Let's did I miss a super chat, or was that the last one was about the Michigan fans not very good at math comment? Pretty sure that was the last super chat. Oh, Brian, I'm sorry. I did not know you had 3. 2 kids at Ohio State, 1 at Notre Dame. That's even cooler, man. I do like that math. That gives me 2 is better than 1, right? All right, thanks, Chris. All right, back to the phone lines here. I know we got a Notre Dame person in line, and this is a new number. I'm wondering if this is who it is. Welcome to the OHIO podcast. Who are we talking to?
The lunatic.
The lunatic fringe is called.
Lunatic Fringe. Yes, sir.
Is this Steven?
Yes, sir.
What's up, buddy? Thanks for calling in, man.
Absolutely. I went back because I stayed with you guys all day and watched the game with you guys last night. I got a chance to go back and watch it today. I have to say that even when I knew what was coming from them, it just didn't seem like they were in it from the beginning.
Who, Oregon?
Oregon, yeah. I mean, from the get-go, they looked defeated, like the kickoff to me.
Really? Now,
Maybe it's just me, yeah.
I haven't got a chance to go back and rewatch it yet. Obviously, I will. I'll probably watch it multiple times before the next game against Texas. But that's interesting that's what you took away from that, was that Oregon didn't even appear like they were in it. Was it, do you think it's because we just got off to such a fast start that they felt defeated? Like they just knew something was different?
And the fact that I didn't get to watch it when you guys were watching it. I was living it through you and Chris and Corey and Lisa.
Yeah, okay.
So I couldn't see what was going on. I was depending on you for my eyes and ears, just like Steely said.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect. But when I saw it, like I said, even when I knew what was coming, that final drive in the first half, they were trying hard. And I thought the guy stepped out of bounds on that long run anyway.
Yeah.
And Ransom missed that tackle. But that seemed to be their it. That was everything they had, they put into that.
So interesting to note, Stephen, that Cheryl said, and she brings it up, there were reports that there was flu going around their team. Maybe that's what you saw a little bit, possibly, was they just, the energy level wasn't the same because, they were dealing with some sickness.
Maybe. What was that running back? Jordan?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He didn't dress the second half. Do you think he had the flu, or do you think he just gave up? I mean,
that's a great question.
Running back doesn't come back out.
Well, I mean, if you feel like you've got zero chance to win the game and you don't want to get hurt to hurt your draft stock, there could be a little bit going on, but who knows? I mean, that's something to keep your, it would be interesting to get Adam from the Quack 12 podcast to get his take on that. I would love to talk to him again, but I'm not going to reach out to him for a while because that would be really rude of me to talk about rubbing some salt in the wound, right? So I'm going to let that one go a little bit before I reach back out to him, because that was a beatdown of epic proportions. Like,
concur.
It was the same beatdown that happened in 2014 in the national championship. Almost
right.
Exactly. Except we didn't have all the turnovers that we did in that game. We would have been a bigger beatdown back then. The other thing that is interesting of note, Stephen, is that the Oregon fans and the Oregon podcasts that I talk to, they admittedly talk about how the game when they play Ohio State, it's their measuring stick game. Are we national championship level team? And if we can beat Ohio State, the answer is yes. That's how they look at us. So when we go out to Eugene and we play them in their stadium and they win 31-32, they're feeling like we are a legitimate team. They go undefeated, Stephen, through the Big Ten. They win a Big Ten championship. They are 13-0. They are in the Rose Bowl. And the first team they have to beat is the team they barely beat by 1 point on their home stadium when they had every advantage given to them. Maybe in the back of their heads, they thought, we in trouble.
Well, they were, for sure. The 8 sacks helped tremendously keeping Gabriel contained. And it looked like that was another thing. A couple of the sacks, like the one Cody had, it looked like Gabriel stood right there and was waiting for him to get hit. Waiting for himself to get hit. And it was a covered sack. He didn't have anywhere to throw the ball. He should
Nowhere.
have thrown it away, but instead, Cody clocks him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's a better quarterback than that. You and I both know.
Oh, yeah.
But he was not on his game yesterday either.
No, he was shook, dude. He was shook.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I remember saying at least 2 different times, and again, I haven't gone back and watched the game yet, and I'm really interested to do this. When you watch those 8 sacks, how many of them are what we would consider coverage sacks? You know, it wasn't just
Good point.
It wasn't just a blitz that didn't get picked up, or a defensive lineman just beats the offensive line 1-on-1 under 2 seconds and gets the quarterback in 2.5 seconds. But it was 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000. No one's open. I scramble around and then I get sacked. Like, I think at least half of them, right? Maybe more.
I agree.
And so
Maybe more.
And so hats off to this.
No.
And think about this. No one's talked about this. I don't think Denzel Burke allowed 1 reception, maybe 1, the entire game.
Now you're going to make me go back and watch it again. I know
I think maybe
that
1.
touchdown. The touchdown at the end of the first half was on Iggy,
Okay.
and I don't know. I can't remember. I am going to have to go back and watch it again. But you know, that's what us lunatics do, right?
That's right, because that's right. We're that exactly, exactly. By the way, did you order your T-shirt?
Not yet.
Okay,
I will tomorrow.
You gotta order the T-shirt, my man, because
I will.
It's
Trust
got
me.
your name on it.
I told Steely I was going to do that, and he kind of guided me how to go through and do it. And then he texted me. He goes, "It went through. You're going to love this."
Oh, that's
And I do.
fantastic. That's fantastic, man.
I said, Kirk made me do it.
There you go.
I lived that. I mean, we are lunatics. If you think about it, and you think about the way we think about the game, some of the people that think we should have won Michigan, and the rest of the season just is empty. I can't see that the way Chris says it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it hurts.
He
And
doesn't.
it's not going to stop hurting.
Chris doesn't
But-
use the word empty. He uses the word hollow, and I get
Hollow.
I get why you're saying that. But you know, I'm not going to try to answer for Chris because he is watching everybody. Just so you know, he's running the chat, and so when you see comments from the OHIO podcast, that's Chris in there chatting with all of you guys. I understand where Chris comes from. I do. When I left that stadium, Steven, on November 30th, I have never been that low as an Ohio State fan in my life. I almost got
Well, see, you're younger than me. You're younger than me. I saw Woody punch Charlie Bauman,
Okay.
and I knew he wasn't going to be the coach when he got home.
Ooh, yeah, that would have been tough. Yeah, that would have been tough.
I mean, it was. So I've seen the low and the lows, and I saw the Indiana defeat in '87, and
yeah, that would have been a tough one.
I can't be that low when we're 2 games from the national championship.
I got you. I feel you. No, I understand. I understand. But let me humor me for a minute here. I'm walking out.
Okay.
You know, I'm walking out of the stadium, and I just felt like I have been punched in the gut again because I'm believing our roster is so much better than theirs that there's no way we're going to lose this game. And and then watching the flag planting and then seeing a stupid Michigan fan making fun of us as Ohio State fans and talking trash to a bunch of Ohio State fans, including elderly fans. I had enough. I lost my cool. I lost my temper.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. You came close to throwing hands for the first time in a long time.
Long time. And
well,
I had to check myself, man. I had to check myself.
You have more control than I do, I think, because I would have definitely said or did something because that's just disrespectful to the elderly.
It is. It is.
I mean,
well, I'm not the kind of person who, like, I want to represent the Block O as proudly as I can, if you know what I mean. So when
I do.
When I meet someone from an opposing fan base, I like to say hi to them. How's your experience going? Welcome to Columbus. You know, I want them walking away saying those folks are really nice. And you know what? Their team's a lot better than ours and they kicked our butt, but at least those fans were nice. I always try to do
See,
that.
there are Michigan fans down here where I'm at, and I congratulated them. The guy came in the next day decked out in every piece of maize and blue he had. And I was, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do this. Sir, good game. Very well played. But I had to. They did take it for granted. They handed it to us.
Dude,
but I knew we weren't done.
You sometimes you have to tip the hat, man. You know?
Yep.
You won. Congratulations. You know, one of my good friends, friends of the show, and a lot of you who have joined since we've been on YouTube don't know him, but Chris does. His name's Sean Butler. He's a biggest Michigan fan I know, a biggest one, and we would bring him on the show back when we were audio only. And that guy, at times, you know what? I can't stand the man, but I love him, and he's a good dude, and I would do anything for him, and he would do anything for me. But when it comes to that game, it is all feelings aside. He hates me, and I hate him because he hates my team, and I hate his team. And that's the way it should be. Is we can set aside, you know, our feelings of one another and respect one another for, you know, most of the time out of the year. But when it comes to this game, listen, dude, I hate your team. That's how it goes, right? That's how it goes.
Exactly.
But we're lunatics, Steven. We're lunatics.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, thanks for calling in, brother. I appreciate you, dude. Don't make this the last time you call in, all right, brother?
I won't. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate it.
All right, OH.
I-O.
All right, Chris, another new caller, man. That's I love talking to people who call in for the first time, man. I love that. All right, man, back to the phone lines. Jar, what's happening, buddy?
What's going on?
Dude, I'm celebrating a win. I am not on off of cloud 9 yet. I did fall asleep last night. I did get some sleep. I had to return to work after a Christmas vacation, so I returned to work today. I'm running on fumes, I'm not going to lie, but I feel good. How about you?
I'm about in the same boat as you. Had to get up and go to work today, but it just feels better when you know you got a victory in the back of your mind, like, hey, we did it.
That's it.
And now we get to move on to Texas.
That's it. So let's come up with some stuff, man, like reasons to hate Texas. Number one.
2009.
2009's a good one. That we can put that one down there, man. 2009. Yes, they beat Tressel.
I remember that game with Colt McCoy. I was still living in Philly at that time, and I thought that we was gonna get them, but they still managed to pull it off, and I done had a sour taste in my mouth for Texas ever since. So now we get to clean that out.
Okay, I gotcha. Other reasons to hate Texas. Quinn Ewers left us to go to Texas, right? I mean, that's
even more of a reason to hate him because he just stole our money and then just went to Texas. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see. They have the worst shade of orange. Out of all the colors of the orange shades of orange, theirs is the worst by far.
It is.
Yep.
It is. And if I see Matthew McConaughey on their sidelines going crazy one more time, I'm a loser. So now we get a chance to sit him down.
All right. There's number 4. Matthew McConaughey is gay. Got it.
And I guess maybe the fact that they can't take their mascot anywhere, he always has to stay home.
Yeah, he's too big, right? Their mascot's lame. There we go. All right, what you got for me, Jar, man? What's up, brother? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I can say that I'm happy with the way that our coaching has progressed throughout the course of this playoff run, because I was worried last night that Iggy and Burks were going to have a bad game, and we heard nothing from them at all. We didn't get a holding call from Iggy. Denzel wasn't getting toasted. It was lovely.
Let's talk about Denzel Burke, Jar. Did that guy not have the most redemptive night, like the redemption of any player in a long time? Like, he has had one really bad game in his 4-year career at Ohio State. One really bad game. And to get the
that's
opportunity.
The one that he caught the most flack for.
Yes. 100%. And rightfully so.
Oh yeah, it was definitely rightfully so. You got cooked. But he redeemed himself. He said he must have heard it. I'm pretty sure he did. He ain't paying no attention to it because it didn't affect him.
That's right.
And did let his playing do the talking. And at this point, we can't say nothing to that because you did exactly what you were supposed to do, if not better. So hats off to those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a video of Tez Johnson, the star wide receiver for Oregon. He was actually waiting until Will Howard finished his interview just to congratulate him.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very classy move.
I thought it was a fantastic move, and nothing but mad respect for him. And I also saw his they highlighted him on game day, his story.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about a young man who deserves every ounce of what's coming his way when he goes to the NFL in the form of dollar bills. That man does.
Oh yeah.
I became a Tez Johnson fan on Saturday for what I learned about him, and then what he showed the world and what kind of man he is. So yeah, I agree with you 100%, Jar.
Total class there. That's hats off to him. But I'm just next Friday can't come fast enough. It's just the waiting in between. And I can say that I like this 12-team playoff format because we get football forever.
It feels
the football don't stop.
It feels that. It feels that. As long as we keep winning, it sure feels that way. We just got to keep winning, man. And here's the thing.
That makes it even better.
Yeah, here's the thing, Jar. Don't get comfortable with 12 teams. I'm telling you right now. Don't get comfortable with 12 teams.
Oh, no. I already know that they're losing their minds down in the SEC right about now.
Yeah.
And with the dynamic of college football now shifting, it was formerly the SEC was the king of college football. I think they've been knocked off of their crown. The Big Ten did that, so now we have the two. It was a major conference being the SEC. Now there's two. It has to be shared because the Big Ten has shown that they deserve to be up there as well, if not more. And with the type of pool that the SEC has, we are definitely going to see a change in this format next season. I don't know if they're going to start seeding differently or get rid of the automatic buys, but it will not go down the same way that it did this year.
I agree with that. I agree with you 100%. They will change how they seed next year. That'll happen. But I foresee they're going to extend this thing, and it's going to move to 16 teams. And
they have to because they want a football March Madness. I believe somebody had a dream for March Madness type of format football many years ago, and it's now finally starting to come into fruition. And in the end, that's what we're going to be left with. There will be a 16-team playoff. I want to say probably within the next 3 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
most definitely.
I agree with you.
It's going to be more fun. I think Ohio State will probably be there every year at that point. But we're still, as fans, we're still going to have to deal with that last game in November still, regardless of what format it goes to.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be very interesting going forward.
I agree, Jar. It will be very interesting going forward. And if you look at how FCS does the playoffs, that's what we're heading towards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're going to see 16 teams, and then you're going to probably see even more than that eventually, because the money's there. It's all about the Benjamins. They know it. The bowl, the last thing that's holding it up is the bowls. That's literally the last thing that's holding it up.
I think they're gonna have to keep the bowls because the bowls is the TV money. We'll still have 2 6-6 teams going at it, but somebody's gonna tune in.
Well,
they're gonna get money from wherever they can.
If you watch those bowl games, though, like the attendance to some of them are awful. Straight up awful.
Oh yeah, it's tragic. Like those stadiums get more people there for the NFL games that they played in, most of them. And if it's not that, if it happened to have been a particular college team's home field for that bowl game, they would get more attendance for their regular football games during the season. But they're gonna squeeze that. They're gonna squeeze that penny to get every piece of blood out of it. You can believe that. For as long as they can. For as long as they can.
All right. So if we extend the playoffs, Jar,
Mm-hmm.
and that means that there's going to be more bowl games that come into the playoffs, what bowl game do you think they need to bring into the playoffs? I saw where, let's see here. Was it Ryan Day's
Pop-Tart Bowl?
Okay, yeah, you and Ryan Day's beard. Straight up, Pop-Tarts Bowl. Well, did you see on the cheese?
Pop-Tart Bowl. That's the coolest bowl out there, man. You actually get to eat your trophy. Well, they still get to carry a trophy in a sense, but the main thing being a hot Pop-Tart coming out the oven and everybody get to celebrate. After they've been trying to kill each other for 4 quarters, you got to bring that in there.
Cheez-It Bowl.
That's like the ultimate consolation prize right there.
The Pop-Tart Bowl. There was zero hesitation in your answer, man.
It's the coolest bowl out there, man. They got the coolest mascots. They're standing on top of the stadium. Like, we never seen Brutus up that high before. Like, come on. They gotta throw that one in there.
I give me the Cheez-It Bowl, dude. They had on the Cheez-It Bowl, they just had a young couple get married in the Cheez-It Bowl. Like, some of these bowls are wacky, man. They're like, hey, we want to get married in your bowl game. Excellent idea. Let's get you. Let's go ahead and get our Cheez-It mascot to be the pastor who marries you guys.
He's going to officiate the wedding.
He did.
The kids are going to throw rice. They're going to throw cheese.
You're going to throw Cheez-Its.
That'd be lovely.
Yeah, they did. They really did. It was wild, man. That was crazy. I think flat out, like, Bulls got to get creative if they're going to stay relevant. if you're not a part of the playoff system.
They do, and I think that the Pop-Tart Bowl is leading the way. If you want to talk about getting creative, like, I don't think there's nothing more creative than that.
Now how about this, Jar? Now hold on a second. Hold on a second, Jar. Now Snoop Dogg had a bowl game. And I know you explained what your picture is for Jar Happiness. Now that I figured you go that way.
We got to keep it family oriented because the Snoop Dogg Bowl, that's got to be adults only.
Jar be like, dude, the Snoop Dogg Bowl brought to you by Gin and Juice.
See, exactly. You can't have no kids around there. Can't have no kids around for that. That's going to be an adult-only party. It's probably going to turn into a big party after the game is over with. It's going to be a concert. Eminem's going to come down from the rafters. They're going to have to keep that an adult-only bowl right there. And I think that the Rose Bowl should be the national championship every year.
Oh, it's it won't be the national championship every year because they're going to spread the wealth. They're going to let the national championship travel around. Hey, I heard this today, by the way. They're building a new dome stadium in Cleveland. Do you know one of the reasons why they're doing that? Is to bring the national
Why? Because it's too cold?
To bring the Super Bowl and the national championship to the state of Ohio. Could you imagine?
Hey, I can't disagree with that.
Could you imagine
That's a good
Ohio
idea.
State getting the opportunity to play for a national championship in Cleveland, Ohio?
That would be freaking nuts.
That's-
And I think that'll probably be the only time where no Ohio State fan sells their tickets to the opposing team.
That would be epic, man. Dude, I've enjoyed this conversation. Any last thoughts, brother?
No, sir. All I got to say is horns down. Let's keep the train moving.
Let's do it. Have a good one. Thanks for calling in, OH.
You too. Ayo.
All right, man. Looks like this is Ryan. What's up, Ryan?
Hello. Hello, Eric.
How you doing?
Just good, man.
What you want to talk about tonight, man?
Hey, I just wanted to say, I'm a Lunatic Fringe fan as well.
All right.
I follow this team 365 days a year. Have for years. Anyone who can't understand how upset all Ohio State fans were after that performance on November 30th. And we've all known what this team is capable of since April. Anyone who doesn't understand that really doesn't need to be talking about football, let alone broadcasting it nationally. That's enough. I'll say no more about it.
Before you move on to your next comment, Ryan, Chris, there was a comment way back earlier where someone called us clowns. Do you know which one I'm talking about? Can you pull that one? Can you pull that one up for me? I'd like to read it because I want to respond to this because this within our fan base, Ryan. Okay, within our fan base, as a part of the Lunatic Fringe. Okay, let's just call it like it is, like who we are. We are emotional fans, right? Fan is short for fanatic. And you go on emotional swings as a fan. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's what you do. Every fan base does it. I want to read you this comment that came in a little bit ago. And this is directed at Chris and I. I know why. And his name is JCarb305, whatever that's short for. You clowns were ready to fire Coach Day after the Michigan game. I've been an Ohio State fan my whole life, even from down here in Miami, so I understand how much it hurts to lose to Michigan. Don't come at me with your usual "you don't understand the rivalry" speech to bring up your age like you did after the game. I'm 62, played football for a military branch, and my son played for Mount Union. Congratulations by that, and thank you for your service, my friend. I know exactly what the rivalry means, but let's be real. The ultimate goal is winning a national championship. My response to that comment, Ryan, is this. I don't disagree with you. The ultimate goal is always winning a national championship. But do not kid yourself. The first goal in every season, because you're not going to win a national championship or have the opportunity to win a national championship every single season. We have won 8 in 150 plus years of Ohio State football. We have won 8. So that means we have about a 4% chance or just under a 4% chance of winning a national championship. But you know what we do have a chance to do every single season? Beat the team up north. That's what we do have. That's what we have. Chris's response, by the way, is, J-Carb, I understand the ultimate goal being a natty. I do. You get a crack at that once every decade or so, unless you're Nick Saban. You play your rival every year. Your performance against your rival is what defines you as a coach unless you have 7 rings. Well said, Chris. We were on the same wavelength there. All right, Ryan, your response, man.
Well, with the dynamics of football, college football changing, the entire landscape has been changed. Obviously, with the NIL 12-team playoffs, everything is going on. Are we at a point where, from a coach's standpoint, from a program standpoint, that the game that we've all grown up for decades, since the beginning of time, the best rivalry in all of sports, those games always before were season ending. Are we at a point now where the game, I'm not saying it's meaningless by no means, but are we to the point where it's a lot less meaningful to where you take a very vanilla game plan, you take don't get anybody hurt, it's a war of attrition, a 16-game season. I hope for sure not, but are we there?
Wow, that is a good question, Ryan, and hats off to you for asking it. I don't know, Chris. Let's let the chat answer that. That is a phenomenal question, Ryan. Phenomenal question. That is one we are going to explore this offseason. Absolutely. I'm writing this question down, Ryan. Has the game changed due to the playoff? What do you think, Ryan?
I mean, have we not truly been over-punished for dropping that game to Michigan? Get seeded at the 6th seed, where I think everybody would have projected possibly we'd have been at where Penn State landed, a pretty good spot. Is the all 3 goals are every year: Michigan, Big Ten championship, national championship. Nobody remembers Michigan wins. Nobody remembers Big Ten wins. Everybody remembers national championship wins. I mean, that is the ultimate prize, I guess. Like you said, every season, the number 1 goal is the team up north. I believe that there is, from the past being so much that being the game. I'm not sure that it hasn't shifted from that. Do you see them ever starting second string players in those games that have become, they're not season ending anymore? Potentially they are, but possibly not.
I'm going to say my initial reaction, Ryan, is this. It's going to be a generational shift. Meaning, the younger generation who is going to grow up with the playoffs, so my son and younger, those guys, so people who are in college now and who are younger, who are going to grow up and never remember a time without the playoffs, are going to look at the game much more different than us.
Yes.
I think that is going to happen, but it'll take a while before it happens. It'll be
Yes.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. That is a great question, Ryan. Hats off to you for asking it. $5 super chat from Bobby Mack. With the changing landscape, the game isn't quite the same as years gone by, but it is bigger than any other game we play during the regular season. Yeah, that'll be the first change that happens, Bobby. I think you're right. It's not going to be as big. It already isn't as big as it used to be because, Ryan, you brought it up. That game used to end your season. And then it became, well, you got to go to a bowl game if you were 6-6, right? It didn't used to be that way. Like a lot of people don't know. Like I don't ever remember a time, Ryan, when Ohio State didn't go to a bowl game. I mean, I understand they did in 2011, but you know what I'm saying. Like they've always been going to bowl games my whole life. But there used to be a time where only one team from the Big Ten got to go to a bowl game. It was the Rose Bowl. That was it. It was the only bowl game there was for Ohio State possible. And if you didn't go to that game, that's how your season ended. And so there was probably a shift then, a little bit, in the fan base. Like, hey, we get to go to a bowl game anyways. And now it's like, hey, we get the playoffs. So I don't know. It's a great question, man. That is a great question. Hats off to you. Ryan, anything else, brother?
Yeah, I'm very thankful for the CFP committee of punishing all of the conference champions with a bye. I every time that we have a bye, I see any team have a bye. It just seems like predominantly they're coming back rusty. If not rusty, they're not starting real quick.
Dude, they went 0-4, Ryan. 0-4. Now, I didn't think for a minute that Boise had a chance. And I knew that Arizona State was going to be an underdog, but I thought they had a better chance than Boise. But I ain't going to lie, like, you look at how they did seed this thing, and I thought for a while, I predicted it way back when they released the brackets. I said Notre Dame's going to beat Georgia because they're much more physical than Georgia is up front. They have better line play. And, I felt Ohio State had a good opportunity to beat Oregon if we could get there. So, but my gosh, 0-4. Do you really think it was the buys, or do you just think it was the matchups?
I think a bye is beneficial to teams when they're going along playing good football. They have a lot of momentum, like Oregon. A bye is beneficial if, say, Gabriel was injured at an injury that extra time would have healed him. And everybody's busted up a little bit this time of year. I get it, but a major impact player. Other than that, I believe that when they're rolling good and playing their best ball, a bye is very detrimental to them.
Yeah, I agree with you because look at how Ohio State came off their buys this year. they were slow off both buys. No, I agree with you. Like that might have something to do with it. I think the matchups at the end of the day had a lot to do with it too. I just felt like these teams that were matched up against these four teams that got buys were, which is a whole nother. We're looking at a whole nother aspect of this too. It's one thing to have a bye. It's another thing to have a 3-week layoff. That's not a bye. That's 3 weeks of layoff. Okay. Now Ohio State had 3 weeks off too before they played Tennessee, because we didn't get to play in the Big Ten championship game. So we went 3 weeks before we got to play Tennessee. So it's the same amount of time as Oregon, but the difference is we got 10 days before we played Oregon, we got to play against Tennessee. And so we were 10 days removed from our last game as opposed to 20 plus, which is what Oregon was at.
Yes. And I believe with that, this team was far from, we hadn't seen its peak yet. Dropped the one to Michigan to where we know how that all went. To where how upset they were, and they weren't any good. And fire day, all things that seemed to pump them up to get them to where they're at. I guess what I was saying is when you have a bye or 3 weeks off, when those teams were really rolling strong and playing good, I think that slows them down as well.
Yeah, no, I think you're right about that, man. Great call, brother. Anything else on your way out, brother?
Nope.
All right. Thanks for calling in, Ryan.
Thank you.
All right. OH, brother.
IO.
All right, we're going to keep them moving. We've got 3 more calls I'd like to get to tonight, guys. I got 3 more in the queue here. So 3 more phone calls we would like to take tonight. And this looks like a new number as well. So enjoy first-time callers. Hello, what's going on, 562?
What's up, Eric? First-time caller, long-time listener. It's BK's caddy. How's it going, brother?
Oh, doing well, man. We've got a Notre Damer on here tonight, brother. What's happening? Congrats on the big win, my man.
Oh man, I appreciate it. I mean, I didn't do shit other than, sorry. So, pardon the French. I didn't do anything. I just sat on my couch, drank some beers, screaming at the TV a lot, frightening the kids, pissed off the wife.
Sounds like a full day.
I would admit there were some a little tears in the tear ducts, but other than that, man, it was a good night. It was a good night to be an Irish fan.
Absolutely, man. Listen, now, I ain't gonna lie. I'm pulling for you. I'm pulling for you to win against Penn State because I selfishly want Ohio State versus Notre Dame because I want John Kennedy on my program, and I want to be on John Kennedy's program for a whole week talking about a national championship because that's ratings gold for me. So I ain't lying about that, but I want to see it, man. I also think it would be an incredibly entertaining game. I really do.
Yes, 100%. Honestly, man, I really do hope it's more entertaining than the last few OSU games, because I mean, dude, is it Ryan Day dyeing his beard before every game? What is it, man? Because ever since that loss to the team up north, this guy's been playing like, I mean, obviously the team, but he's been coaching like he's trying to prove a point. And I don't know if it's because the fan base wants him gone. Who knows what the AD is saying? I really don't know what's going on in that side of the world, other than like what I hear from you and your platform and the fans. But it's at one point, Chris was like, "Oh, dude, I'm freaking sick of this guy. I want him gone." And we bring on Marcus Freeman maybe, and then all of a sudden, Chris is like, "I don't want Marcus Freeman. Like, I want to smoke this guy." And blah, blah. I mean, I don't know. Like, like it's hit or miss with this guy. But and Chris, if you're listening, I love you, buddy. You're a great guy. But man, it's who knows, man. OSU is playing with a different edge right now, and at one point it seemed like this natty was up for grabs. It didn't seem like there was anybody out there that was playing with a different sort of edge. But I mean, OSU is dominating on both sides of the ball. From offense, Will Howard is dropping dimes. For the defense, they're winning the line of scrimmage. They're winning the battle in the trenches. I mean, dude, you guys are playing with a different edge, man. And I'm happy. I'm happy that Notre Dame won tonight. And I'm happy that we beat Georgia, especially a team of that caliber. And I'm happy for the drought that we kind of cleared away, or winning or not winning big games like this. But I mean, when I think of the future, I mean, this is a good platform to say I think we all think James Franklin is a fraud, and I think that side of the CFP was an easier route, pretty much the easiest route to play. And now that they have a team like Notre Dame, I don't want to look ahead and saying we're getting to the national championship, because it's football, right? Like you can never look past the team. But I mean, let's just say we do what we're supposed to do. We get to the national championship, and even Texas is not playing that well. I mean, Arizona State's good, but they're not tier 1 caliber good. And for Texas to struggle the way that they did, I mean, think about it. Like, if Arizona State executed on the plays that they should have executed, they would have won. and they would have beat Texas. So,
well, if they would have got a targeting call, if they would have got that targeting call that they
100%.
should have gotten, they probably would have gotten at least close enough to take a shot at a field goal. I understand their field goal kicking was
100%.
suspect in that game, but my gosh, like that was textbook targeting. I have no idea why they didn't throw the flag there. But listen, Texas is SEC's last hope in this thing, and it's a first-year SEC team. And I saw Skeeter from the Woodswater Mizzou podcast in the chat there for a few seconds. I don't know if he's still here and still listening, but dude, it's got to, as an SEC fan, it's got to be somewhat embarrassing that the team that's representing your conference in the Final Four is the team that was in the Big 12 a year ago. Just saying.
Yeah. Now,
to get to your point about Notre Dame and Penn State, I have said from the beginning, James Franklin at some point is going to James Franklin this thing for his team in the playoffs. It's what he does. It's who he is. Read the back of his baseball card. At some point in a big game, when the game is on the line, he will screw up. He always has. He always will. That's who he is. Now, they've been fortunate enough that they've played SMU and Boise State, the two weakest teams in the CFP, in my opinion. And that's not a slam on either one of those teams. That's just the facts here. Now they've got to play Notre Dame. I'm telling you, if out of these matchups, I would rather be playing Penn State right now than I would Notre Dame or Texas. Because and it's James Franklin. That's why. That's the only reason. Like, I think their roster's good. I think they've got good line play, although they have an offensive lineman who apparently has false starting and holding issues. He had like 5 penalties in the last game. But I'm telling you, James Franklin will crap the bed in that game. I think Notre Dame wins going away. I just do.
Yeah, I agree. And take it with a grain of salt, but I'm knock on wood. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Notre Dame OSU national championship, and let's just say, like, wishful thinking here, looking into the horizon on that game. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough one, man. Will Howard is dropping dimes.
Well, let me put it to you this way.
On Kennedy's show.
Go ahead.
I was going to say. No, I'm saying I said this on Kennedy's show where, like, I know that in the off season when Notre Dame was in the portal for a quarterback, I know Will Howard's name was thrown out there. I don't know how hard they went after Will Howard, or if Will Howard was even a consideration. And if my memory serves me correctly, I think Ryan Day got Will Howard because that was the only best option out there. Am I wrong on that?
Not entirely. There was buzz about the cat who went to Miami, and it was evident that Ryan Day didn't want him. Cam Ward, thank you. His name just came to me.
Yeah. Either way, both are great quarterbacks.
But I'm kind of glad he didn't. I mean, Cam Ward quit on his team at halftime in a bowl game. I mean, do you really want that guy? I mean, I knew he threw for a lot of yards.
Or is it getting ready for the draft?
I mean, well, he doesn't. He was avoiding injury for, obviously in the second half. But you quit on your teammates halfway through a game. If you're going to do that, don't play. Like, I see it. Give the next guy up. Now, I was going to say this, okay? What is the difference between this Ohio State team and the team that you played a year ago? There's a big difference. You brought up one of them right now, and that's at quarterback. Will Howard is much more of a gamer at quarterback than Kyle McCord was.
Right.
Now, Kyle McCord might have a better arm, and I'm not going to deny that. I will give the young man credit. He might have a stronger arm. and at times better accuracy, but he, as he proved in the Pitt game, he will also turn it over again and again and again. But Will Howard is just a gamer, dude. He's just got a bigger heart, man. And I think he commands his leadership skills. He commands the huddle better. That's the first biggest difference from last year's team to this year's team that you'll notice if we play one another. And the second is, and this is going to be a wild statement, and I've never made this statement on this show before. Chris is going to agree with me because I'm pretty sure this is birthed from Chris's trying to convince me. Jeremiah Smith is better than Marvin Harrison Jr.
Interesting. What a hot take, man.
You know what? To say that at the beginning of the year or the middle of the year, yeah, that's a hot take. To say it now, I don't think it is. I really think Jeremiah Smith is better than Marvin Harrison Jr. And that it seems wild to say that. Marvin Harrison Jr. was a top 5 pick in the NFL. I kid you not.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Smith is probably, if not the number 1 pick, he's at least top 3 or 4 in this upcoming draft if he were to go in.
Wow. Well, to each their own, right? I mean, everyone has their own. I don't know. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a different level of, a different caliber of wide receiver, but yeah, I mean, Jeremiah Smith, he's also a dog, man.
Here's the thing.
You can't deny that.
Listen, Marvin Harrison Jr. might have better route running than Jeremiah Smith right now because of 3 years of being in the program. Listen, Jeremiah Smith is much more physical of a wide receiver than Marvin Harrison Jr. ever was. Like, he will physically be. Go ahead.
Yeah, you need both to have in the league. So we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah. But it's wild. But I'm just telling you, like, if we want to compare last year, what happened in South Bend to what could happen in a national championship game if this were to take place, you're playing a better Ohio State team. And you brought it up, and I will reiterate it because I think you're correct. I think you're playing a pissed off Ryan Day. And if it's because of the fan base turning it back on him, yay. Keep feeling that way. You know what I mean? Like, we'll gladly,
right?
We gladly got your back after you hoist the trophy. If that's what it takes. I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about the dubs.
And let me add to that because it's been evident, and especially all over the sports news media, Notre Dame has been playing with a different caliber since the NIU loss.
Absolutely.
So is Marcus Freeman also playing pissed off?
And you know what? I remember the Notre Dame shows after that game. There was conversation: is Marcus Freeman the right fit for Notre Dame? After that game, and just like the conversations that were taking place in Ohio State podcasts and Ohio State community about Ryan Day after he lost to the team from up north for the 4th straight time. So it happens in every fan base. It's just something fan bases do after bad losses. So I don't want people to sit here and think like Ohio State fans are the worst fans in the world because Kirk Herbstreit and Nick Saban said we all need therapy and we're the lunatic fringe. I remember the conversations that Notre Dame fans were happening after you lost to Northern Illinois, and it was maybe Marcus Freeman can't get this job done. And now look at you. You guys extended him a contract, and he's the greatest. He's the first coach ever in Notre Dame history to win 13 games.
Eric, all dogs' lives matter, man. Can you back off of Kirk for a little bit, dude?
Hey, listen. All I'm saying is he brought the dogs out to try to quiet the fans who were getting on his back because he knew everybody's got a soft spot for dogs. I'm just saying that's what happened. I know Kirk's game, dude. By the way, did anybody else notice following the game he messed up Carmen, Ohio, or he was trying to sing Carmen, Ohio, and he forgot the words? Dude's a fake
Yeah.
He's a fake alum. He's not even a
You know what,
fan. He's
dude?
a fake alum.
Dude, I've been watching game days since I was a kid, and Kirk hasn't had this much national recognition since both of them actually have been out on game day. So I can see where you're going.
You follow me. You follow me. Hey man, any last thoughts on your way out, brother?
No, man. I'm just again happy for the Irish win, and circling back to your platform, you guys are playing with a different caliber right now, man. You guys are just making it seem to the national landscape that Ohio State's here to play. They're here to dominate and seemingly win a national championship. So hopefully the Irish get to the national championship game, and I'm rooting for OSU. And hopefully a good national championship game. Now, again, that's wishful thinking. Knock on wood. Hopefully both teams get there. And, yeah, man, thanks for having me on your platform.
Yeah, man, appreciate you calling in. Have a good one, BK Caddy.
See you, buddy.
Bye. All right. We got one more phone call in the queue. 740, you're up next. It's another first-time caller, Chris. Dude. Chuck, Kirk Herbstreit has become a lunatic. Did anybody else notice that? He's trying to sing Carmen, Ohio, and he messed it up. I'm like, Kirk, it's not a good look, buddy. It's not a good look. You're just adding fuel to the lunatic fringe fire, man. Can't even sing the words to Carmen, Ohio. Man. Chris, fake alum and a terrible broadcaster. All right, man, let's go. Last phone call. We got one more here. 740, what's up? You're on the OHO podcast. Who are we talking to?
What's up, Bogsy? It's Bobby Mack.
Bobby Mack! What's happening, buddy?
Oh, not much. Just sitting here, listening to things, writing a couple things down, a couple questions.
Hit me.
Had some thoughts.
Let's do it. Let's roll, brother.
First off, after you're talking about Herbie, how about Fowler calling us the Crimson half the game?
Do you think he did that on purpose? Or do you just think he's so in love? He's so in love with Alabama that he's just like, I only see the shade of crimson.
I think I heard him say it 4 times.
Oh, Lord. Of course. The fact that all of these games were on ESPN is a crime. Absolute crime.
Absolute.
It's disgusting. The amount of SEC bias on that channel, it's sick. It's not just Ohio State fans that notice this, Bobby. I got, like I said, I have a lot of Notre Dame fans that I follow, and they all were pointing it out. You literally had broadcasters on ESPN wearing Georgia gear today on ESPN. How is that? How are you unbiased when you're literally wearing SEC gear on your program?
You would think that they would think ahead about that, but they don't care. I mean, they've been sucking at the teat of the SEC for decades now.
It's their cash cow. It's their cash cow. It's what it is. It's big TV. TV's all about big money, and it's the reality of what we live in, man. So thankfully, Fox, CBS, and NBC combined are fighting back, thankfully, and that gives the Big Ten a fighting chance.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I wanted to see if you guys have heard anything about is that 30-day extension that Michigan got for the NOA. Has anybody heard anything more about that? Because that 30 days up as of 2 days ago.
It's crickets. Listen, I was sucked into. I'm just as guilty as everybody else. I was sucked into they're going to get hammered narrative. And maybe they still will. I don't know. I have zero I have zero sources from the NCAA that's giving me anything. Okay. The one source that I could rely on that it comes from JR, and JR has a source, and JR was under the impression from his source that the NCAA in their investigation was very serious. Now, that was during the investigation. I have not talked to JR, nor have I heard from him on what that investigation is going to result as far as punishment from the NCAA. My feelings at this point are that, and Bobby, forgive me if you've heard this and it's me repeating, but after losing the game to the rival, I just didn't care anymore. It doesn't matter because we lost again. You know what I mean? And if we win a national championship, if they take away wins or whatever, yay. But I'm here to tell you, I just don't think that the NCAA is going to come down on them. I don't. The NCAA is toothless, brother. I mean, look at what happened in basketball. North Carolina, Kansas, Louisville, all cheated, paid players illegally, gave out false grades, was recruiting illegally, and none of them had anything happen to them. None of them. The only thing I think the NCAA does is try to hit Harbaugh harder because they have a hard-on for trying to, fight with Harbaugh because of how he basically just stuck his middle finger up at him. And since he's not at Michigan anymore, I could see them adding more years or whatever. And if they take away wins, what's that really do? If they don't take away the national championship, and if they don't hit them with sanctions moving forward, so they take away a few wins? Okay.
I still want to see him get slaughtered. It's just you cheat. You got to get something, especially to that level that affected games.
I understand.
Bookies out there. I mean,
I understand,
and
Bobby. I get it. I do. I believe. I feel just like you do. I just have zero confidence that the NCAA is going to do anything.
That is true. I don't have much confidence in them either. I mean, when they give us the same penalty that they gave North Carolina's football team and USC back in the day, we got the same penalty as them for selling some gold pants.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't add up very well.
And by the way, this is what Ohio State should do. And Ross Bjork, if I ever have the opportunity to talk to Ross Bjork before anything comes down from the NCAA Michigan, I would say, Ross, here's what you do. The day after, the very next day after you find out what the NCAA does to Michigan, and if you feel it's not hard enough, you should publicly come out in a press conference and publicly say to the NCAA, you have failed Ohio State, you have failed the Big Ten, and more importantly, you have failed college football. And because of that, we here at Ohio State are reinstating our wins that you took away from us when Jim Tressel was here, because if you're not going to uphold your own rules, then apparently you don't have the authority to no longer hold those against us. So at this moment, those wins and that bowl championship are being accepted at Ohio State again. And you will put the NCAA in their place if you do that. That's what I would do. I would tell Ross, prepare that speech, get it ready. You do that. Because if the NCAA doesn't have the balls, excuse my language, to do the right thing to the team up north, then you need to take the next step and you need to say, if that's who you are, then that is ours. We're taking it back. What do you think?
I 100% agree with that. That was beautiful. I think maybe even throw in something in there about talking about super conferences. Just to rile the NCAA up, because that's their worst nightmare, is creating these super conferences that doesn't need the NCAA.
Yeah, oh yeah. The Big Ten and the SEC are already heading that way.
Yeah,
they know it.
I say within 10 years. I've heard people say within 5.
It might be. It might be. It's heading. It is heading that way quickly, Bobby. Quickly. Bless you, my man.
All right.
That's all right.
Wrong tube. It happens.
I understand, my man. I understand. Hey, listen, my wife fell down the stairs during the game yesterday, so it happens to the best of us.
I saw that. I tuned in for a little bit with you guys.
Yeah, she's doing well,
She's
by
doing
the
all
way,
right?
everybody. Yeah, she's fine. She's a little black and blue, but she's doing better. So, all right, man. What else you got, brother?
Let's see here. I just want us to reach out to the refereeing association and let them know that it's allowed to call holding against teams when they tackle us.
Right? Listen, I watched the Big Ten crew who was officiating Notre Dame and Georgia call a holding on a Notre Dame player who was wide receiver on a run, who when the player was shifted, he didn't let go of his hand quick enough, and they called a holding call on that. And I'm like, dude, they are literally hugging us and tackling us, and they're calling nothing. We've had one holding call against us all season. How's that even humanly possible?
It shouldn't be.
It's crazy.
And that one, we didn't even accept it, right?
I don't think we did, actually. Now that you say it, it was against Caden Curry. So,
yeah.
It's insane. I've never heard. Listen, as mad as it makes me, Corey literally is ready to burn mattresses over it. Like that has ticked him off like I've never seen Corey ticked off before in my life. That stat alone, that it just drives him up a wall.
Yeah, I think he talked about that Monday.
Yeah, he is ready to. Yeah, he's ready to petition the all Big Ten officiating with that. Which, by the way, you bring up a good point. We've talked about this in the past. One of the things I would do if I was commissioner of college football is I would institute full-time referees that are paid through the NCAA or whatever, the college football playoff or whatever, instead of through the conferences, because there's such a difference between conference officiating. We've seen it last 2 games. We've had ACC officials last 2 games, and they don't call jack. They don't call anything. Hardly anything.
Well, we were, 134th out of 134 on penalties against us?
Yeah. Well, no.
That's
We're 134 against penalties against the team we're playing, meaning the fewest amount of penalties against the team we are playing is us. So they might have 10 penalties before the game before they play Ohio State, but when they play Ohio State, they don't get any. So it's a crazy stat that for some some people have the gall. I'll never forget this. It was the Marshall fans had the gall to say Ohio State gets every call every time. I'm like, are you kidding me? What game are you watching? Like, for real. I can't tell you how many fan bases think Ohio State gets every call. It's like, guys, we are 134. We are dead last in getting calls.
Well, even the holding call on, was it Will Kazmarek yesterday? That was a phantom call.
Yeah.
I didn't see a holding on that at all.
And then we got 0 holding calls. And then Oregon got 0 holding calls.
Yeah. Well, I think, was it in the game today with Notre Dame, there wasn't a penalty called until the 3rd quarter, other than the running into the kicker. Like it was those 2, and then there wasn't any until the 3rd quarter.
Really? You might be right.
If I'm remembering correctly.
You might be right. You might be right. Tyler says that I think the refs just hate us. I don't think refs hate us, dude. Although, mark it down, dude. There are refs who are betting. They're betting on games.
Yeah. Is it illegal for refs to bet on games?
Yeah, it's totally illegal. It's totally illegal.
I figured.
Remember was that the trying to remember what ACC? It might have been Miami versus Virginia Tech. It was a Friday night, and there was a guy who was joking with the ref on the sideline, and the ref didn't know he was recording from his phone, and he said to him, "You got money on this game, don't you?" And the ref turned around and smiled. Not a good look, dude.
That is
not a good look.
Wasn't there one game this year or last where somebody walked over and handed the ref $1 being funny?
Probably in the SEC, knowing somebody. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, one of the last things I wanted to bring up is I think in this game against Texas, they've seen what JJ can do, right? So I think they're going to try and double him on every single play. And I think that in this game, Carnell Tate is going to have his biggest game of his career.
Ooh, I like it. I like it, Bobby. You know, I was going to say I have some interesting stats for all of you guys. If you want to listen to a few of them, let me pull open my
of course
little handy dandy. Here we go.
Oh, and I think Texas plays Arch Manning a lot more this game because of his running ability.
I wouldn't be shocked by that. I wouldn't be shocked by that. All right, here we go. You want Emeka Egbuka's career stats or JJ Smith's career stats when it comes to records? Which one you want?
Let's go with it, Egbuka.
All right. Emeka Egbuka is currently ranked 7th all-time at Ohio State in career receiving touchdowns with 24. He's tied with Brian Rubisky. With 25, if he gets one more, he will be tied with Santonio Holmes at 6. He gets 2 more, and he'll be tied with Chris Carter at 27 all-time in career touchdowns. Looking at career receptions, he's currently now 2nd all-time at Ohio State with 194 receptions. He passed David Boston in 3rd, who had 191, and he's only 7 behind KJ Hill for number 1 all-time at 201 receptions. And then at career receiving yards, he currently sits at 4th with 2,753. He passed Chris Olave at 6th at 2,711 and Chris Carter at 2,725. And he's only 39 yards behind Gary Williams. There's a name for you. Who's in 3rd with 2,792 and only 102 behind David Boston at 2nd at 2,855. And he's about 145 behind Michael Jenkins at number 1 at 2,898. So he's got an opportunity to break some records these next 2 games if we get 2 games.
That would be amazing.
Now, one more. Let's talk about the amazing season that Jeremiah Smith has had, okay? This is one of the reasons why I came out and said Jeremiah Smith is better than Marvin Harrison is now. Listen to this. With yesterday's performance, Jeremiah Smith moved into a tie for 2nd all-time for the single greatest receiving single season touchdowns. So most touchdowns in one season. 2nd all-time at Ohio State. He tied Marvin Harrison Jr., who did it twice with 14 in 2022 and 2023, and David Boston, who did it in 1997. Number 1 all-time is Terry Glenn, who in 1995 had 17 touchdowns. But with those 2 yesterday, he's now tied with Marvin Harrison Jr., who did it twice, and David Boston with most touchdowns. Now, his single season receptions. So as of right now, Jeremiah Smith has 70 receptions this season, which is good enough to be tied with Garrett Wilson and KJ Hill for 7th all time. Ahead of him is Marvin Harrison Jr., who had 72 in 2022, David Boston, who had 73 in 1997, and Curtis Samuel, who had 74 in 2016. He has another good game. He'll leapfrog all of them and be in 4th. So he's probably not going to reach Jackson Smith-Njigba's 95 he had in 2021 or Paris Campbell's 90 that he had in 2018. But my gosh, he's only a freshman, by the way. That's what's crazy. And then top 10 single season receiving yards. Okay, so single season yards. He's now 5th all time at Ohio State for the best season receiving yards with 1,224. Only 39 behind Marvin Harrison Jr., who's in 4th. So the season he is having is just, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That's true freshman.
True freshman. All of these guys I just mentioned, every single one of them were their sophomore, junior, or even their senior season. He's a freshman.
How is he not freshman of the year? I still can't understand that.
How was he not in New York for the Heisman?
How did Travis Hunter win it when he's not even a top 4 cornerback, not even a top 10 wide receiver? That drives me crazy that he won the Biletnikoff. It just makes me wonder if the awards really mean anything anymore.
That is the prime Deion Sanders effect is what that is. That is all that is, dude. 100%. 100%. What else you got, Bobby?
Well, that leads me to, are we going to hire somebody to promote our players for these awards? Because we haven't done it, and we haven't been getting a lot of the awards that we really should be getting. I mean, we've had, 3 top 11 wide receivers drafted. 0 of them got a Biletnikoff. But they're always the first ones off the board.
Didn't Marvin Harrison Jr. win it?
Did he?
I thought so. I thought he won the Biletnikoff
maybe
last
he
year.
did.
I'm pretty sure.
You're right. He did win it last year.
Yeah, I thought he won it last
year.
You're right. Jerry Amick, he doesn't do it, and apparently that's his job. So that's all I'm going to say.
Well, let's hope he can step up his game and do a little bit better then.
Yeah, no joke. If not, dude, hire the OHIO podcast. We'll do it for you.
Oh.
We can do a better job.
You can run out on stage in your Speedo.
No, that wouldn't work. Maybe for the offensive lineman of the year, they'd be like, Boggs, man, look at that guy. That's the body of an O lineman right there, man. Chris said, no.
Chris can run out with his I Love Ryan Day to promote Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Shot fired.
No kidding. No kidding, brother. Anything else, Bobby Mack, man?
No, I'm good. I've held you guys here long enough. I appreciate you guys letting me talk.
Hey, man,
here.
thanks for being a lunatic fringe. Thanks for being a Pod Squad member. Thanks for all the super chats, buddy. I appreciate that, man. You keep the show running, my brother.
Anytime. Gotta do my best.
All right, man. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later. OH.
IO.
All right, Chris. Big shout out to Chris in the background, working the out there in the background, working the chat and doing what he can. Steven, it's not that I can't say anything. I don't know. I don't know the inner workings behind the scenes. So I don't want to throw someone under the bus simply because I don't know all the facts, if that makes sense. If it comes out that he absolutely has failed this program when it comes to doing that, I will be the first person to call somebody out for it. But I just don't know all the facts. So I'm just trying to be careful for that aspect of it. But I appreciate you understanding. This was a fun show. I miss you, Chris. We need to get your microphone figured out, dude, so we can get you back here. Let me run down what's going on for everybody. All right. So we'll have some videos for y'all. There's a basketball video out tomorrow. Ohio State plays Michigan State tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, so it's a big game. So we have a preview for that. Chris and I will have some videos hopefully for you when we can figure out his microphone issue. And then Sunday night, roundtable, 8 o'clock Eastern. Don't want to miss that. Monday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, Corey will have some Buckeye Therapy. I already know his topic. It's a great topic. You're all going to really enjoy it. And then we will do the call-in show again next Thursday. Of course, that Thursday will be the day before. So the call-in show next Thursday will be all about the Longhorns. And also we'll have the preview for you as well for the Texas Cotton Bowl game. So we'll be efforting that. And then, of course, we'll have all the great content you all expect. So it'll be coming your way. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks, chat. Great job tonight. Appreciate all of those who gave super chats. Wonderful phone calls. Tons of new callers tonight. I love that. I love new callers. Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate all of you. Till next time, be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH. Sing Carmen, Ohio with all your heart. OH, IO, go Bucks.